folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Today I'm going to show you how to plumb the depth, and all that means is finding out the exact depth of the water in your fishing spot. So obviously if you throw bait in, you're going to find that the bait hits the bottom, and logically therefore the fish are going to start off feeding on the bottom. So therefore, how do we go about it? And here's how. So the first and easiest way to do this is to use a plummet. Basically it's a piece of lead, or in this case tungsten, with a bit of cork on the bottom, and what you do is you take your hook, pass it through the eye at the top, oops, and then just insert it in the cork at the bottom. There we go. Now obviously we then got our distance to the float, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the thing into the water fairly close in so you can see the float and how it reacts as I'm doing this plumbing up. For the purposes of the video, I've changed the tip of the float. I'm going to put this big thick one on so you can see it in the water. Now I'm not going to cast out all the way to where I'm fishing at the moment, because you'd never see the top of the float, and that's the purpose of the video, of course. So let's throw this thing out into the water and show you how this works. So what I've done is I've taken off one of the larger shots from below my float so that it sticks up a lot further than it normally would when I'm fishing. If I just put this down in front of me, you can see it sticks up out of the water quite neatly. What that means is, of course, that if I now lift it, obviously what I'm doing now is just pulling the float up so that the plummet is on the bottom, and you can see that I'm actually probably at least 30 centimetres or a foot over depth. If I go a little bit further out to there, still over depth, but probably nowhere near as much. And a little bit further again. And you can see now that the float's struggling to come up. It's not sitting anywhere near as high as it did when the plummet was on the bottom. So what that means is I'm literally fishing at the exact depth of the water there. Now bear in mind, you're not going to fish just there, you're probably going to fish somewhere out there, I don't know, 10, 20 metres, maybe 30 metres even. So that's where you'd cast to, but you'd go through exactly the same procedure I'm doing now. So what I'm going to do is, if I just go a little bit further, just to show you. Hopefully this will come up on the video, but that is now sunk. Make sure you give yourself some slack line, as you can see there. Otherwise, if you hold it tight, the thing's going to just be pulling against you. It'll be pulled at an angle, it'll never surface. So plenty of slack line. You can see that there's no float there anymore. If I now bring it back a little bit, again giving it slack line. Give it a second or two to come up. No, nothing yet, still. There we go. Right, so obviously the bottom is now shelving up towards me, and I'm actually fishing on the bottom at that point. So of course the plan is that you throw it out to where you're going to fish and then plumb that up, but it's not quite as simple as that. What you can do is draw the thing back towards you, as I've been doing, and you can feel for the contours of the bottom. And what that means is you can maybe find a shelf or a ledge or something, and of course that's going to be a good holding place for fish. So that actually could be the indication of where you end up fishing. So that's the simple way of doing it. The other way to do it is to take your hook, take a split shot, something like an SSG, and just put the split shot above the hook. Makes it easy to cast for you, especially if you're going long distances. So the other thing you can do with this is, if you want to actually fish with a length of line on the bottom, say so much, put the split shot on there. That means that when you've got the right depth, you'll be fishing this much over depth. Simple really, isn't it, folks? Once you've got the depth, and in this case it's about 3 feet or so, you need to be able to remember it. And the way to do that is to take your rod, just put the hook in somewhere about here, tighten up, put the anti-reverse on, and then count the rings. So there's the hook. I've got 1, 2, 2 3/4 rings. So if I happen to snap off on a fish or I want to change it, I can go back to 2 3/4 length, and there we are, all done. So really that's all there is to plumbing the depth and finding the actual depth of your swim. Hope that helped. Don't forget, if you like the video, you can always click the like button, and if you want some more of these great videos, you can come on back and click on the subscribe button for me. Thanks a lot. See you next time.